This is News 12 at 10.
Tonight on News 12 at 10, a teenager dead a week after a shooting at a North Texas basketball game. The new charge the suspect is now facing.
Our world is torn apart right now.
And an Oklahoma family searching for answers after losing a loved one to a hit-and-run crash. How they're remembering her. Plus, a Kxii disaster response team ready to go in any emergency. What they provide to first responders and victims in times of need. Welcome to News 12 at 10. I'm Meredith McCown. We begin tonight with breaking news. Police confirm 2 people are dead and 5 injured after a shooting in San Antonio tonight. Police say it happened inside a venue along the Riverwalk just after 8 tonight. San Antonio police say an argument led to the shooting and the people shot were patrons at the club. They say 1 man died at the venue. The other 6 victims were taken to the hospital where 1 was pronounced dead. According to police, the suspect is still at large. 2 people are injured after a shooting near Tanglewood last night. The Grayson County Sheriff's Office says 1 person was shot in the leg and another has non-life-threatening injuries. They're still investigating what happened, but believe it was an isolated incident. They believe there's no danger to the community. The Sheriff's Office hasn't said if anyone's been arrested. An 18-year-old who was shot at a Dallas high school basketball game last weekend has died. Police say Mark Strickland has been in critical condition since the shooting, but died at a hospital yesterday. It happened last Saturday at the game when a fight broke out and shots were fired. The 15-year-old suspect turned himself in the next day. Police are upgrading his charges from aggravated assault to murder. Police say 1 person is injured after a rollover crash in Denison early this morning. It happened sometime between midnight late Saturday and 1 this morning near Austin Avenue and Coffin Street. No word on what caused the crash, but the car flipped upside down. Police say 1 person was taken to the hospital. Firemen and police blocked both lanes of South Eisenhower Parkway to work the scene. An Oklahoma family is pleading for a driver to come forward after a young mother was hit and killed on I-35. It happened during heavy rains on Friday and more. Taylor Adams spoke with her family.
Our whole family is absolutely devastated. Our world is torn apart right now.
A Lexington family reeling after hearing news that their daughter and sister, Nicole Graves, will never come home.
I texted her. And I said, Nick, be careful on the roads tonight. They're going to be slick. She messaged me back at 7 and said, okay, thanks.
Brianna Graves says it was normal for her 22-year-old sister to be on the roads early in the morning. She worked long hours waiting tables and was on her way home Friday when she lost control of her car on I-35. She was okay, but she got out, and another driver hit and killed her. The other driver, nowhere to be found.
Accidents happen. But when someone does leave the scene of an accident, it does make it a little bit worse.
Now left behind, Nicole's 4-year-old daughter, Sophia.
She's asked me today, why is Mommy not home yet? Why is she working so long? Is Mommy making me dinner tonight, or you can make me dinner tonight?
Brianna says all she feels now is numb, not knowing what to do without her best friend.
I'm her older sister. I've always had that promise with her. We had what was called a sister promise, and that was when we pinky promised. And when you sister promise, you don't break that. And when she had Sophia, I sister promised her that I would make sure her and Sophia were taken care of. And I wasn't able to do that.
The family remembering Nicole as loving, hardworking, and fiercely protective, which is why it's so important now to bring her justice.
If anybody has any information out there and you saw something and maybe you're just scared to come forth, you know, it could be your kid.
When disaster strikes, one Kxii group is always ready to lend a hand. The Salvation Army Emergency Disaster Response Team is looking for volunteers. News 12's Braylee McCoy spoke with them about the role they play in crisis situations.
We go out, we make sure they're hydrated, we keep an eye on them, we give them snacks. We minister to them, we pray over them, and we pray with the families and the victims.
Linda Day says she's been part of the Salvation Army Emergency Disaster Response Team for about 10 years. She says their team goes out to fires, crime scenes, search parties, and anything where first responders are working for hours at a time. Day says they helped with the search effort last Sunday for the Arkansas woman who drowned after a crash in a Sherman culvert.
We did a lot of praying because that was a tough one.
Day says they provide snacks and drinks. She says they hope to meet not only people's physical needs, but spiritual too, by praying for them. Her husband was a firefighter for 16 years, so it's a cause she's passionate about.
Most of the firefighters in Grayson County are volunteer, and so this comes out of their pockets, but they have a heart for it.
Major Tex Ellis with the Salvation Army says it's made possible through volunteers and donations.
We have so many volunteer opportunities, but this is one that really you're able to touch lives.
Day says they're always in need of supply donations and anyone can become a volunteer. They're having a disaster response training February 8th.
Would like to have anybody that's interested in joining the team and doing disaster response to come along.
Ellis says they come any time of day to where they're needed.
The small grass fires and the small house fires in the middle of the night and the accidents out on the highway that may not necessarily make the big news, but we're there.
In Grayson County, Braylee McCoy, News 12.
Turning to weather, sunny skies are in store again for the next couple days, but another chance of rain is in the forecast. Tom Hales in the Weather Center. Tom, what can we expect for tomorrow?
Well, we can expect a very cold start. Take a look outside. Temperatures right now are already in the 30s. Some places 20s. We've got 24 degrees in our cold spot, and that happens to be Sulphur. But here's what's really going to be happening. At the bus stop by tomorrow morning, you need to bundle up. We're going to be looking at 27 degrees. It'll be clear and crisp, very light breezes. And by end of day, yes, I'll tell you, it's going to be warm. Back up to 51, which is normal for this time of year. But then on Tuesday, clouds come in. And then on Wednesday, rain returns, maybe even with a hidden snowflake. We'll talk about that next.
All right, thanks, Tom. President Trump traveled to Austin today to address the American Farm Bureau Federation's 101st convention. President Trump said his deal with China has made them respect the United States and that it's good to have good relationships with other countries like China and Russia. He said he wants immigrants to come into the U.S. to help farmers, but only if they enter the country legally. He told the gathering under his trade policies, the United States has a much more equitable trading relationship with Canada.
Canada will finally provide greater access for American dairy. You know, Canada was charging us 287% tariffs. Nobody knew that. Nobody knew that. I knew it. So you basically couldn't even deal with Canada. But those days are gone. Our dairy exports are set to increase by more than $300 million per year. Poultry exports to Canada could jump by nearly 50%.
This marks the third year in a row President Trump has spoken to the Farm Bureau. Last month, the federal minimum age to purchase tobacco and vape products raised from 18 to 21. Now, an Oklahoma lawmaker proposed a bill for the state to get on board. News 12's Joe Valdez got opinions from both sides of the Red River.
I'm fully against tobacco, but you've allowed people to do it. Some of these kids are 19 and 20 and are already addicted to it.
Stephen Judd is against a proposed bill in Oklahoma that would raise the age from 18 to 21 to buy tobacco and vape products. It was introduced Wednesday by state senator and Ada native Greg McCourtney.
The worse it gets, the more that's going to be out there. That's my thought.
Randy Maddox doesn't smoke, but says he's for the bill. But he fears even with a new law, underage smoking will still continue.
But, you know, when you make it harder for kids, they're going to find ways to do it, just like, you know, anything else.
The Oklahoma State Department of Health confirmed 5 cases of vaping-related illnesses since September. 2 patients were under 18. The CDC reports 60 deaths in 27 states were caused by a lung disease linked to vaping. Senator McCourtney says raising the legal age could have a huge impact on the health of Oklahomans.
That shouldn't be established. I mean, if you can fight for your country at 18, why can't you smoke a cigarette or vape?
The Oklahoma Senate will be in session on February 3rd. In Ardmore, Joe Valdez, News 12.
And the same age change went into effect in Texas in September, but with that law, you're exempt if you have a military ID or if you turned 18 before the law went into effect. Coming up on News 12 at 10, she's a slam dunk in the classroom and on the court. Get to know this week's A+ athlete.